Welcome back to our operational foundation training. In this training module, we will be discussing our staffing availability spreadsheet. This spreadsheet is very important because it acts as the mover's schedule. So once a week, every Friday, we do post the availability for everyone to see, just to make sure that it is correct and everybody's on the same page as far as operations, management, and our staff. If there's any discrepancies once the schedule is posted, we do request that our movers tell us within a day of the posting, just to make sure that we have their staffing updated or their availability updated. So we're not sold short when it comes down to servicing jobs on any given day. So in this module, we're going to be going over how the staffing availability works, what information you can gain from staffing availability, how to build the availability sheets, and so on. So let's jump into it. Here is the Google Drive address. So I would highly recommend that everybody saves the staffing availability to the favorites bar. You can do so by clicking on this little star right here at the top of the web address bar. So I usually would recommend going with the shortest name possible. If you look at my favorites bar, I have mostly icons up here because I have a lot of different favorites, a lot of things that I use on a daily basis. I would highly suggest that you do the same thing. Just give it a short title so you can easily find it. With the availability sheet, you might be utilizing it 10 to 20 times a day, if not more. I mean, it's a valuable resource that you will be utilizing many times throughout the day. So let's go through some of the columns in the availability sheet. First and foremost, the most important one is going to be the staffing name, the names of all the different drivers and helpers. Here you can see this is Seattle staffing. This is all of our drivers in Seattle. These are 20 to 24 foot truck drivers. Here we have our 14 to 16 foot drivers. Not everybody can drive the larger trucks, so we do separate them out. The individuals can drive large trucks and also ones that can drive small trucks. Small truck drivers are invaluable because we have a lot of small truck jobs, studios, one bedrooms, packs, load, unloads. Those types of jobs require smaller trucks. So people are uncomfortable. We don't want to push them into driving larger trucks. We want to keep them with the smalls and keep everybody within their comfort level. So ultimately, we'll go down here. You can see total drivers on any given day is going to be all the drivers added up. One means they're available for the whole entire day. So it adds every single individual here, so you can see how many drivers you have. Down below, these are all of our helpers in Seattle. You can see total helpers down here, and then this total Seattle column right here, this is actually all drivers plus helpers for total staffing in Seattle. So that's what that number is. And if you scroll down even further, we do keep the Seattle and the Woodinville availabilities on the same exact page, so we can calculate total staff. There is a lot of mixture of jobs. Some jobs that normally would go out of Seattle might get allocated to Woodinville due to staffing concerns. We typically will try to keep Woodinville jobs in Woodinville and Seattle jobs in Seattle. But sometimes, we might need to flip a job over to a different location just due to high demand and low number of jobs in one given area. So that's kind of how we do our staffing availability. As we scroll down, you'll see, once again, total drivers. You'll see total helpers down below over here for Woodinville, and it kind of plays out for the whole week. It calculates everything out for you. And then you have total Woodinville staff. Total GS staff is going to be Seattle plus Woodinville staff. So if you look at our numbers here, that's a good quick reference just to make sure that we're not overbooking. If we need 70 movers in a day and we only have 60, well, then that would be a problem. We need to staff up. And the further that we identify those things, the better. And that's the value of the staffing availability. It allows us to prepare for busy times and see if we are, under-resourced, if we don't have enough staffing on a certain day. We'll call more people in, or we'll start hiring heavily. It buys us time. The more time we have to make adjustments, the easier it is to operate the company. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of the staffing availability spreadsheet. On this furthest left column right here, column A, you're going to see everybody's typical schedule. You see Andy here has a Monday through Saturday schedule. We're expecting him to work Monday through Saturday unless he requests off a day, which we would ultimately mark as such here. This would be a request off anytime that says REQ. But that's his typical schedule, is the Monday through Saturday. This individual here has a Monday through Friday. This person has an everyday. Some people, let's see, will be off, like this individual is off Tuesday, Wednesday. So we really just list out generally what people will work, what is their set schedule, and just expect them to work those days unless they tell us otherwise. For us, communication is key. The better they communicate with us, so the easier it is for us to make adjustments. The more notice we have, the easier it is to block off calendars with the staffing availability. We book jobs based on our total staffing. So if we book and we're assuming there's 70 movers in the field on any given day based on our availability, and 5 people said that they couldn't work that day last minute, well, then we have a day where we might need 70 people and only 65 people are available. So that's why communication is just so important with the staffing availability. And that's why posting schedules every Friday is also very important, because it allows us to make sure we get our information that we have, that we've gotten from our movers, and put it in front of them for them to evaluate. So continue on. In this column B, you'll see levels trained. In this column that shows what level in our training program they've actually completed, so you know what they're up, what training level they're up to. For, let's see, these items here, Podium, I don't think we need that anymore. We'll probably end up deleting that one. Everybody has Podium. That's our dispatch tool that we use to text everybody. That way you can see it on the back end. There'll actually be a training module on Podium and how to use it, how to communicate with all of our movers. That's how we do our dispatch. That's how we send out start time. That's how we send out, off text telling people that they're off. And that has a lot of resources there, or ways to utilize it within our operations. But we'll get to that in a later training module. This one here, tool set. Who has a tool set? It's marked by an X. Every lead needs to have a tool set. It's a requirement of a lead to have a tool set and a drill, which brings me to the next column. Column E is drill. We need to make sure everybody has a drill there. So I would expect every one of these has an X in it, and I'm actually going to talk to our operations team about that, because we need to make sure everybody is fully tooled going to the job. Requirements of a tool set are just a hand tool set with sockets, with a hammer, with crescent wrenches, all the basic tools. You can get those at Harbor Freight, and then also a power drill. We need to make sure our guys do have power drills going out there to expedite and speed up the process of the assembly and disassembly of beds and other items that we might take care of. So as you can see, a couple things here. Red, we have a couple drivers that we've had issues with, so that tells me that we can't actually utilize them as a driver. So a certain individual here, a license has issues, and then another individual here, for some reason they came back as uninsurable. So red means that we can't use them as drivers, so we're trying to fix and rectify those issues right there. So we'll get into driver qualification later and what driver qualification is all about. But ultimately, these two individuals aren't meeting the qualifications for drivers. So that's something when we place them on hold. They can still operate in the company as a helper or a non-driving lead, but they cannot drive our vehicles right now. So right here, you'll see on Monday, we have this individual needs to be off by 12:30. Since the beginning of the company, we've always had very flexible out times. As long as somebody tells us, hey, I need to be off by 11, hey, I need to be off by 3 or 5, we're going to go ahead and meet that requirement for them. Sometimes it's very helpful having, just movers that can only work a half day, because that way we can clean out a morning job. But we do need to strategize and put them on the right job. I mean, they can't be on an 8-hour job. This individual can be on an 8-hour job if they have to be out by 12:30. So we're going to give them a small job, a studio, a 1-bedroom, a load or an unload, some smaller job that guarantees their out time is 12:30. If we actually can't get them out by 12:30, it's our obligation as a company to swap somebody in for them so we can meet the expectations that we've delivered, which is getting them out at a specific time. So as you scroll down, you'll see this one, Jesus' crew. This is a contract crew. So one contract crew actually is 3 people in this case right here. We have another contractor down here, which is Satch Schultz. He has 2-man crews, so we have to staff him with give him the appropriate job, a 2-man crew job. But that's why you see other quantities in these columns. That's the number of movers that these contractors can actually go ahead and supply for us. Everybody else is going to be a 1, and that just means that they're fully available that entire day. If you see a question mark, that means we need to reach out to them. So as a dispatcher, operational administrator, operations manager, you really need to make sure that anytime you see that question mark, you reach out to the mover or the contractor via Podium, just to say, hey, are you available to work this day? The sooner the better, because the sooner we know if somebody's available, the quicker that we can open up the schedule. The sooner that we can open up the schedule, the higher the probability that we actually can go ahead and book the slot. So if you see a blank slot, that just means that they're unavailable on that day. And if we're in a crunch, I mean, it never hurts to go through and just text one of those individuals by our dispatching app, Podium, and say, hey, can you work this day? And if they can't, just put an X in there. That shows us that they can't work, so let's not ask them again. Other than that, as we move forward, you'll see multiple question marks and blank spaces. We kind of covered all that. Typically, we're going to build out availability 2 weeks in advance. I see it's built out far in advance, which is great. If we have any text come through Podium, the expectation for all of our movers is we need at least 1 week notice to request a day off. They give us a week's notice, we'll go ahead and give them that day off. Unless we're absolutely booked, then we'll talk to them and kind of direct them to the day that's a little bit slower. And we also tell all of our staff, all of our movers, that we don't allow days off from the 25th, 5th. That's the blanket statement. If somebody absolutely needs it off, of course, we're going to do what we can to work with them. But I mean, business is business, and we are very busy from the 25th to the 5th. That's when we need all hands on deck, just due to supply. Due to demand. So going through, I think that kind of covers our availability. If you have any questions, go ahead and reach out to an operations manager or a general manager, and just you can dig through and just see if you have any questions and let us know. Let us know if we can help you with anything, and we'll move on to the next module here. Thank you.